All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So a really good group of viewer request videos here. We're going to look at BKKT, AVTX, GME, GameStop, and then AMC. All right, so I will be very honest, I missed a lot of that. In fact, I missed the entire green. All right, so a little sad on my end, but there is a lot to like on the technical side. And again, I'm going to give you my thoughts about the one world currency. It really seems like a lot of people disagree with me on it, and I swear I have no problem with that. Like, I would love to hear your disagreement, you know what I mean? But I'll give you my thoughts on that again. AVTX, man, I've been talking about bounce or die for a bit, and unfortunately, I think we see the direction that thing is going in, all right? So we'll talk about that one in a bit. GameStop, dude, I messed up on GameStop. I actually broke my, one of my biggest rules, and I'm going to go over that for sure, but still liking it. I think I'm still holding some high expectations, but yeah, more than anything, I for sure messed up, and that was something I want to call out. And then AMC, I think, has a decent GameStop sympathy move setting up. So all that said, before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad. Look, anything you can do helps me so much with these YouTube algorithms, especially if you can actually share the video, because I am really not the best at doing that, all right? But let's get into it, all right? And there is a lot to like on BKKT, all right? If you watch my videos, one thing I often stress is if you can get over all 5, if you can break all 5, you will fly, all right? And we are on the cusp of it, all right? I will say, and I always say, if you lose all 5, you will die. And just in general, all right, BKKT has been under all the moving averages for longer than it's been over. Now, it tried it once right here. We're kind of trying it again. And like I said, like I started the video, I like what today did. Today, I'm seeing less of this big 25% number, which is obviously a big number. And I'm seeing the strength of the candle. I'm seeing the 8, like there's a bunch of technical things I'm going to talk about in a second, all right? I'm gonna echo my thoughts about the one world currency from the last video, okay? And one more time, if you disagree with me, I have no problem with that. Like, I'm not gonna hate on you or anything like that, right? Like, I would love to hear your opposing opinions, all right? But I'm not a believer in the one world currency, all right? I don't know a lot about it. I am for sure not an economics major. I'm not like a global political expert or anything like that, all right? The main reason it's hard for me to believe in a one world currency is all the hate we got in the world. All right, you do not need to be an expert in anything to know. Dude, there are so many nations that hate each other. All right, like in the Middle East, we've got a war going on. In Africa, we've got wars going on. In South America, we've got wars going on. There are so many people that hate the United States. Like, I'm telling you, there is so much hate. And to believe that we're gonna create a one world currency. My main comment last time, and again, it sounds funny, but it's whose face is gonna be on that, or whose flag, or like, let's say we want to do an animal. What if like a nation hate, like, to me, gold makes more sense. All right, gold has been around for a while. Gold has a natural like cap to it, for lack of words. Like, I don't know how to say it, right? But like, yeah, I think gold makes a little bit more sense. But nonetheless, all right, all that said, technically, I like this, all right? And let's talk about the last couple days really quickly, all right? So to do that, we have to talk about the break of the 200, excuse me. So we get over it, not a confirmation. That's a beautiful line right there. All of a sudden, we get a weird doji. All right. Now, again, I'm not a textbook candle trader or anything, but whenever we see dojis like this, look, we saw one right here and we got a really big up from it. We see one right here, we get a decent down from it, right? You can almost say a big down from it, right? So to me, this green, 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 green was an easy red, 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 right? You hear me say that all the time, right? But what I love, and I can't stress the love, is really two things, okay? Yesterday was the first day under the 8 moving average. Generally, you hear me say I need 2 days, right? I need another confirmation. Today decided not to. No, no, no. It said I'm actually going to get back over this 8 moving average line. Beautiful thing, all right? The next thing really was, look, we don't even come back down to the 200. And what I want to do is actually focus a little bit right here, okay? We've kind of mimicked it, but I don't think there was another big, like, let me see if I can phrase this correctly. So that's a decent one. That's a decent one. When I say one, I mean candles, right? Like, I don't care about the percent. I care about like the bigness of the day. We don't really ever see another one after these first initial ones. Here we get the first initial ones and then another one after it. This tells me things are a little different than this time. This kind of makes me believe, you know what? I think we're holding it. I think we're staying over all 5, and I think we're about to fly, all right? I wish, man, like, look, this is the biggest candle to the left, and we, oh, dude, get out of here. Oh, man. Okay, look, this one closes at 188. Today we closed at 180. For whatever reason, it looks like it's lower from this to my eyes. But no, we're on it. You know, I wish we were a penny over it and broke it. But, hey, I'll take that, actually. That's interesting that it closed right under it. Look, let me see where this 197 line came from and then what's after it. Oh man, there's a lot to like here. I like this 197 line actually. Look, you know I'm not here for perfect with my lines, but it's basically half of that, almost the top of that, bottom of that, bottom of that. I think that's a good line actually. From there, I mean, look, you know I love just big ups and downs between channels, and that's what I see. Maybe this will like slow things down a little bit. Maybe you can draw a line at 233. That's actually almost where this wick hit. 235 was the high on this one if you look at the box right there. Maybe 233 will do something, but dude, that's more than a 10% swing even if you wait for this 197 to enter. So again, I like what looks like a holding of all the moving averages. I like what looks like a recovery of the 8. I like the continued divergence. I like that. I wish the number was just a little lower, but I'm good with it, you know. And today was an important volume day too. It almost looks like, okay, this is something I kind of try to like show it. Look, these 3 candles, this red, 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 essentially sell off these 3. Whatever was bought on these 3 days was pretty much flushed out on those days. From there, it almost, what I basically am trying to do is see, like, are people holding, like, from the first pop right here through here? Is it an even amount of buying and selling, or are more people holding, right? And it was close to calling it a wash. It felt like a lot of people bought, a lot of people sold, but it seems like with this candle and maybe with this one today, I think we can say more people are holding in this short term. And again, that's always a good thing, right? You'd like it when people are holding going into the weekend. Look, not a lot of movement after hours. You know I don't care a lot about after hours, but end of the day, just in general, if you're going to make a monster move like 25% and then do 0 after hours, that's great. That's great, because you don't want to lose 10% or 7% after hours, right? Like, that happens often when you get these bigger double digits. So the fact that it's doing nothing is actually a good thing. But yeah, it seems like, look, we need Monday to do well, okay? Because Monday can actually very easily come back down to 72 cents. I actually believe Monday's going to want to come to 97 cents. What does the weekly look like? Ooh. Oh man, sorry, I got quiet because I was thinking. This thing is saying it wants to go to 240. I dig this candle. It's a little bit of a doji, don't get me wrong. Obviously, some extreme uncertainties where someone at one point thought we deserved to come back down here, but oh man, yeah, I think this thing wants to head to 2, give or take, on Monday, and then hopefully that 230, 240 line. We talked about 235, 232 if I'm not mistaken. But overall, I like it. Look, I'm telling you, I'm not a believer in the one world currency, but that does not stop me from potentially buying this if it does what it needs to do, right? Like, I would love to go from $2 to 230 and get just a little more than 10%, right? Whatever my thoughts are on that one world. So let me know your thoughts and opinions. As always, you know I appreciate you guys. Let's move, and gals, of course, let's move to AVTX. So look, really quickly, I don't say this on all the tickers, right? But the most important thing I want to stress is, look, I am not here to spread fear. I am not here to tell you what to do with your money. I am just an opinion, all right? And no one really wants to hear some random guy say, you know, bad things in a stock you got money in. Believe me, I've been on the other side of it before I, like, did what I'm doing now, right? But I have been talking about bounce or die on AVTX for weeks. All right, weeks and weeks and weeks. All right, this was the first moment where it seemed like it wanted to bounce, right? But the thing it never did was confirm. Okay, and here we start the death and then confirm, right? So the 9 cent line is what I kept stressing on, you know, and there's reasons for this, all right? Like, again, I hate making videos after things are bad. Number one, not a lot of people want to watch them. Trust me, everyone wants to hear really good things and rah, rah, rah. But the last thing I want to do is tell you the sky is blue and great and things are good when clearly everything's on fire and there's so much ash and smoke in the sky that you can't even see the sun, right? And like, that to me is what happens when you lose an all-time low, all right? Look, again, remember, there is no history at all under that 9 cent line. We are now in the process of creating the history down there. And the problem is, it generally starts with a lot of red before we can make a little bit of a recovery. You know what I mean? And the one thing you often hear me say is, once you lose an all-time low support, I'm ready for it to lose about 20%. And roughly speaking, we've already done that. Roughly 1 cent is 10%. We've basically dropped about 2 cents and we've went from that 9 to 7 world, right? And again, the same comments are going to happen. I'm expecting another 20 cents to be lost, basically another cent and a half, right? So that would take us into 5.055. That is my honest next expectation for this. And look, I'm not saying it to be mean. I'm not saying it to hate, all right? All I know is, if you can get over all 5 lines, you will fly up, 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 and it's a beautiful thing. But if you fall below all 5, you will die. And if you fall below an all-time low support, you will die. We are under all 5 moving averages. We are under our all-time low. There is no place for me to draw a support line. Like, I don't draw my lines on red candles. I draw them on green ones, right? Like, that 9 cent was the last real good candle we had. This MACD is still very much in the high. Like, it's been as low as down here, right? Like, this thing can still, like, drop down. I know 23 seems like it's relatively low. Dude, it wasn't that long ago that our RSI was 0.5. What? Damn. The worst isn't over here, all right? I know it seems like you want to tell yourself, and look, I'm not here to tell what you do with you. I'm telling you that, right? Like, you do what you want with your hard-earned money, but it doesn't seem like the worst is over, and the worst thing you can actually do for your money is be in all-time lows. Like, I know it seems like, dude, this is the lowest it's ever been. It wasn't that long ago that it was at like $5 and like $50 and, you know, what, like, no. Like, oh man, just... good luck if you're playing this. I know people say you don't lose until you sell. The problem is I would rather have my money in a stock going up. Like, look, I love my parents, right? Like, they've given me a lot of support and all that, but like, yeah, we're not like crazy wealthy, right? Like, my money is an army, and if my army's in the wrong territory, dude, it's game over, right? And it just seems like there's better territory out there, all right? So I am not here to spread fear or anything like that, but yeah, in my opinion, I would not be surprised if 5.5 cents is the next stopping point. So let me know your thoughts and opinions. Again, no one wants to hear bad things, right? But yeah, bad things happen when you lose that, and it ain't over yet. You know what I mean? So best of luck if you're playing it. Feel free to disagree. Let's come into GameStop, all right? Hey, real quick, if you can please share and subscribe, I would much appreciate it. I really messed up on my 11/29 video, my video on Wednesday, all right? I saw this candle. I saw the candle after this one, and I got really excited. I got a little too excited. I started actually talking about $20 dreams, and like, dude, my first, I wouldn't even say first rule, right? Because I don't even know what rule number 1 necessarily is, but like, easily a candidate for rule number 1 is wait for confirmation. And yes, this candle on Wednesday for sure confirmed this. It did. The problem is we now got over another moving average, the 50 moving average, and now this guy needed a confirmation. And I didn't think about that. I didn't look. I don't know if I got caught up in the hype. I don't know what. Like, I'm only human, baby. You know that, right? But yeah, that was my mistake. I got to, like, I believed we were coming to the 17. I believed we were coming to that 19, right? Like, I messed up. And again, it's all because, yes, this Wednesday confirmed Tuesday. It confirmed the break of those two lines was real. That said, Wednesday made its own break that needed a little bit of validating, and clearly that did not happen on Wednesday, or on Thursday, excuse me, yesterday. Today was a decent day for a couple reasons, but overall, I actually wish it did a little better, okay? We couldn't even close above the open of Wednesday. I wish at the minimum we closed basically at 15.54, like literally a penny higher would have been better. I would have loved and felt a lot more confident at like 15.80, 15.84. I'm at least very, very glad we didn't touch the 50 moving average, let alone moved on the way up. You know what I mean? So I'll take that. That said, look, this 50 is still a very weird line. All right, I'm glad we've kind of magically gapped over it, for lack of words, but like, this line is no joke. It really is no joke, and Monday needs to confirm. Look, I would be very, very worried once we start slipping below 15, because that's going to really make me believe I think we might be wanting to come down to 14.20 even. That's a decent drop right there. Ideally, we'll open a little closer to 15.60, or at least break into that 15.60. And if that happens, that's where we'll start to go to that $17 and hopefully start to think bigger than that, right? But yeah, immediately, we still need to confirm the 50. There is actually nothing here like for certain that we've taken this red line just yet. That one got over it. That couldn't confirm. That one's staying over it. Not as beautiful a recovery, a decent recovery, but again, this guy's going to need some confirmation. We've got a nice little golden cross happening right here. Again, a golden cross is just when a little one goes over a big one. The 8's now moving above the 20. I think more than anything, and look, like we see it at times and then it obviously means nothing, right? But this seems like a good line up. Again, obviously we're going to need to confirm, and if things keep going up, so will the 8, right? But it seems like, sorry to zoom in and out so much, but this up that was lost for months and months since July might be trying to do another up is kind of what it looks like. Volume's actually doing pretty well. Obviously, I would love another 60 million day, don't get me wrong, but these 2 days are actually decent. Today and what was this, Tuesday? Yeah, today and Tuesday. They're both in that roughly 13 million. They're both well over that 50 moving average line. And look, again, I don't know if you saw it on the BKKT part or not, but the one thing I see is more people over the last 4 days are holding this than selling it, all right? A lot of people bought on this day. Some people for sure sold yesterday, but in all honesty, less than 20% of it, maybe let's call it a third, maybe a third of that was sold. We still have at least 40 million here, and then the other 13, like, people are holding this. People are looking into next week. And what does next week look like? Again, right? I hope you see, like, lose all 5 moving averages and you die, right? The goal is hopefully we can start working up. This is actually a really healthy weekly. This is. That's a nice divergence. That's a decent divergence. Hopefully it like actually follows through and starts to look like this. Let's see what volume looks like next week. That's healthy spacing. Look, I don't believe we're going to get over that. There's reason to believe we're going to try to get to that 16 and then maybe even that 19, right? So puts a little bit of a nice little I don't want to say reassurance, but a nice like there's a shot at 17 again, you know what I mean? And again, hopefully we can go a little bit higher. But man, I can't stress how poorly I did by getting a little too excited from that gap up, not remembering that we had another confirmation that was needed. So hopefully that makes sense. I hope you understand why I'm saying I got Thursday wrong. If that doesn't make sense, throw it in the comments and I'll give you more details, all right? But again, let me know your thoughts and opinions if they're different at all. Otherwise, let's move into AMC. All right. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe and share, it would be much appreciated. All right. So I actually was very hopeful on this day. I actually kind of mentioned it on the Discord groups on both of them. It looked like this thing was trying to get over the 8 and move its way to the 20. And obviously, it's doing a little bit of a GameStop sympathy play, right? That's essentially what I started with in the beginning, right? That was the same gap up. That was the same bad red day. And today, we see that same recovery that GameStop essentially saw. What I do like, and when you zoom in, you can see it. Look, same exact comments I said on GameStop. It looked like we lost the 8 moving average badly. It did, right? The same excitement I had that maybe we're going to break it and go up, the fear started to ring that, oh man, it looks like we're about to lose it once again, stay under all 5 and die, right? But again, you need confirmation. Today decided to say no, not yet. Let's wait, because no, I'm not ready to give up the 8 moving average. Again, am I as excited on this day? Not really, right? Like, I'm glad we're holding on to it. I need to believe that we're going to get over it. From there, hopefully we'll make our way up to this line, right? But you hear me say it all the time, right? Red, 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 red is a real easy way to green, green, green your way on up, right? And it seems like it seems like if GameStop can do what it seems like it wants to do, this one might as well, right? So not as good volume. That's an easy thing to say, right? Like, there's been a lot more selling than holding. That was the opposite I was saying with Game, right? The last 4 days, it's easy to see way more people are holding, right? So AMC, it looks like it's going a little bit up after hours, if I'm not mistaken. Just a little bit. Yeah, look, I don't care much about after hours, so don't put too much weight in that, but I would watch GameStop, all right? If we can get into 705, I think 705 can be an interesting money line. I'll actually set that alert. 707, I'm good with 707. Let's get into 707, and I think we're going to at least want to go to 770. That's actually where the 20 might open on Monday. Again, I don't know the math behind these lines, but I'm just kind of slope following, right? Like, Monday's going to be right here. It seems like we actually might go there on the 20. So, yeah, what's the weekly look like? Oh, GameStop is like it's actually over the 8. I don't know if I looked at that. Oh, I did. I know I did. GameStop has a better weekly than AMC, for sure. That said, hey, maybe it can at least help us come to this. 850 is a lot higher than I was. Actually, not really. 850 is almost what we were kind of targeting here. So I think 770 is a more fair target. Fairer? More fair, whatever. Otherwise, like I said, get over 7.7, get over 7.5, get me into the nice healthy sevens, and it would seem like there's another 10% to come from that. All right, so let me know your thoughts and opinions. Otherwise, as always, hey, thank you so much.